The Connection Show. Inspiring hope. Health. Healing. Sponsored by Braveheart Workshops. Live with Jill Reynolds. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like our page. Share it. Subscribe to it now and click the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming shows.
The Connection Show, inspiring hope, health, and healing. Sponsored by Braveheart Workshops, live with Jill Reynolds from the Reawaken Conference in Virginia Beach. And passing by my table just now was Scott Neely from Arizona. Scott, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Scott, we do things a little bit different. A lot of the podcasters here, their tables talk about politics and solutions to the country. But the Connection Show is totally different. We love authenticity. So
Perfect.
We're about connecting the dots of story, the good, the bad, and the ugly, to how God has utilized your story in your life to transform your lives, therefore the listeners' lives too. When Jesus walked the face of the earth, Scott, he loved to share stories and accounts and parables so that lives could be transformed. So would you be so kind to share with us what it was like growing up as little Scott and any hardships or fun things that developed in your life to lead you to who you are today?
So when I was a kid, my dad owned building material supply company yards where we supplied things sort of like a Home Depot, but on a smaller scale back in the day when businesses were smaller and they were family owned back in the 80s and the 90s. And I remember I used to get little pieces of sticks off the pallets that were kind of pointy, and I'd use them like a machine gun and then run around, play on the rock and sand piles and on the cement pallets and stuff and run around and play. So I grew up in a family that worked. You know, we always worked. And I learned the value of hard work from my grandfather, from my father. My first job was sweeping the warehouse at 5 years old. I mean, I remember that it would take me an entire week to sweep from one end of the warehouse to the other. And at the end of that week, I'd get about $5. You know, I was only 5 years old, but $5 at that time was a lot of money to me. And I really enjoyed being able to make that $5. That's back in the times where you could go to a movie for $1. I mean, things were different back in the day. They were simpler. They were funner. I miss the 80s and 90s.
Did your parents instill in you a spirit of learning how to tithe and save with your
They did.
$5?
They did. I've always been a saver. Actually, matters of fact, I'm running for Arizona governor and on my savings because I was able to save about $300,000. I'm a small business owner, and I've utilized about a half of my life savings to run for Arizona governor. And I put myself on the map a week ago in the debate versus Carrie Lake, Karen Taylor Robson, and Paolo Tuliani Zen, where we went viral on Twitter and got about 10 million views.
Wow, that's amazing. So that's great. And it's good to know the work ethic because, you know, that is it, when it's instilled in some of us when we're young, that carries on to our adulthood. And when we're taught the value of the 10-10-80 rule, which is give your first 10% back to God, give the next 10% to you in savings, and then the 80% then goes to paying your bills.
That's right.
When you're taught that and then you are instilled that, it just brings blessings into your life. So growing up as a child with entrepreneur parents, what were some of the hardships that you faced growing up?
So my mom and dad got divorced when I was 3 years old, and my dad was a fairly wealthy guy. He was a multimillionaire, and so after he got divorced from her, and I was only 3 years old, I wanted to go be with my mom. So we moved to a different neighborhood, in a different neighborhood that was poor, and she bought a home on her own. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath small home in San Jacinto, California, San Jacinto we call it, California. My dad stayed living in Hemet in the better neighborhoods. And then I essentially grew up going to a predominantly Hispanic high school growing up, coming through elementary, middle school, and high school. Most of my friends were Hispanic. And my brothers grew up going to the other high school on the other side of the track. So they grew up going to that high school. I grew up going to the other high school. And then what's funny is my brothers used to tell me, well, the reason you get such good grades is because you go to the dumb kid school, brother. I said, I'm going to transfer to Hemet High for my senior year of high school. I'm going to show you guys that I can graduate there and still get good grades. And I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I love that story, Scott. I was a single, never married mom for 17 years. And I used to sell copiers for a living, and we used to get bonus points, and we could convert those into sales. So for a couple of years, I saved up all my bonus points for Marriott gift rewards. So I had about 5,000 saved. So when my son wanted to go off his junior year and study abroad in Italy, I gave him as a gift my $5,000 worth of reward points. I says, now, honey, I need to make sure that you're instilled in you the value of wealth and poverty so that you really understand it, and that you'll be mindful of those who have less, and you'll also be mindful when you can achieve more. So when he went away, I said, now make sure when you travel, when you're not in school, when you're not in classes, when you travel, stay at a youth hostel one night and a 5-star resort. A youth hostel and a 5-star resort.
That was my life. That was my childhood. So
yeah.
So on the weekends, I would go to my dad's house. And my dad had a very big house. I mean, it was an acre property, and we literally had a ride-on lawnmower to mow that property. It was large, and what I learned was every other weekend I had to go do the dishes, clean the house of this mansion. What I learned was I enjoy living at my mom's house better because the house was much smaller, much easier to maintain, and I, to this day, still live in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, small home, single-family home in Mesa, Arizona. Yes, I could have gone out and maybe bought a bigger home, but I never seen the need for that. I would rather put my kids through school. So my daughter, we put her through ASU. She graduated a year ago from ASU with honors and became my campaign manager. She's also my office manager at our company. She put me on the ballot for Arizona governor, and I'm now in this big, large race that's being looked at nationally for Arizona governor. And I really do think I'm actually going to win the race.
Well, that's really cool. I have a quick question. When you were in your mom's house, did it only take you 10 minutes to sweep the floor?
Maybe 5. It was not a very big house. 1,200 square feet is pretty small.
And the other question is, did your dad ever invest in one of those big sweepers for his warehouse so it only took 5 minutes to sweep the warehouse?
So for a lot of years, we were sweeping these warehouses, by hand, and it was taking forever. Eventually, my dad did invest in a giant sweeper that would clean it up for us and then self-dump into the trash can. So, yeah.
So is your father...
But he wanted to teach us hard work, so...
Is your dad endorsing you?
My dad is no longer with us. He died at 50 years old. Unfortunately, he was a drinker and was a diabetic, and you can't combine the two because it's a bad result. He died young.
Wow, I'm so sorry to hear. How about Mom?
So Mom's alive. She supports my campaign. She still lives in the same 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot house in San Jacinto, California. Mm-hmm. The neighborhood's was a poor neighborhood then, and I would say it's gotten to be a rundown poor neighborhood now. I've been encouraging her to move to Arizona, but she's yet to want to pick up and leave. So I've been in Arizona for 20 years now. I love it. Absolutely love it.
So as we dig deeper, I always said, Scott, it'd be funny if ever God told me to run for office. I don't think he will. I'm 68 years old. And my life is an open book, like an open book. My son, who's 39, hates the fact that my life is an open book. And if he ever heard my podcast, he'd probably disown me.
Yeah.
But anyway, my feeling is this. I feel that for me, personally, I'd rather vote for somebody where their life is an open book, so there's no surprises.
My life is a completely open book.
So with it being an open book, I'm going to put you on the hot seat.
Yes.
Because I like hot seats.
Beautiful.
Because, one thing I don't like to do on this show is talk politics.
Yeah.
I just don't. I want to know you. Because if I feel that if at the end of the day, after listening to you, I feel like you're a man of integrity, value, and truth, then I'll maybe believe enough in you to click the button to say, I'm voting for this person. So with that, again, in this world we will have trouble. What troubles did you face as far as for yourself, going through college and then maybe moving towards
I never attended a college.
Okay. So did you ever, and I always say this, the definition of codependency is when we allow people, places, or things to become more important than ourselves, that we tend to lose our identity. I think everyone in the world at some point has been codependent. So with that in mind, I always look at people's really easy. Like, if I was codependent of my girlfriend, I was codependent of my mother. Places, I say, is if you're codependent of your job or your church, and that's all you think about is going to work and workaholism, or that's all you think about is running for. That's all you think about, and then you lose your identity because that's your full focus, and then you forget who you are. Things that I always say would be like alcohol, drugs, sex, gambling, shopping, food, anything that distracts us from ourselves. So over your life, have you experienced different stages of codependency?
Yes, I have. As a youth, I was just a workaholic. When I was in high school, it was almost as if I was in college, because as college people do, they work their way through college, right? I worked my way through high school. I had my own apartment by 16 years old. I had my own landscape business by 16 years old. During the time of owning the landscape business, I learned how to do concrete. So eventually over the years, I've shifted into being a concrete contractor versus a landscaper. But I started young. I was burned out on the college life before I left high school, to be quite honest. Yeah.
And so with that workaholism then, the other thing I love to share on the story is I love the scale. Like, I'm not really into astrology, but I'm just going to use Libra, like the balance scale. So on this scale, if you make a column, and this is a great exercise to do on your own when you get home, you write down everything in your life you've ever binged on, and then on this column you write everything in life you've ever restricted. So, for example, you've binged on workaholism.
That's right.
So when you binge on workaholism, then you look at your column, and and all of a sudden, if you're binging on, say, workaholism, and if you stop and pause, look at your sheet, your spreadsheet, and say, okay, I need to get back in balance. What over here am I restricting? And so it might be restricting connection with my spouse, restricting eating meals, restricting exercise. So you look at that. So then you look at the scale and go, oh, wow, when I'm doing this, then this is being restricted. And so when you can keep this as a tool in your life, Scott, you can stay in balance and not have something throw you off, which then leads to destruction, and then the enemy sneaks in and destroys.
That's true.
So with that, is there anything currently in your life, I'm a tough interviewer, Annie, that feels out of balance a little bit, that needs a little bit more steadiness?
I'm still a workaholic. I usually get up at 2 a.m. every morning, get my guys off to job sites, and oftentimes I'm on those job sites. I love working. If I had a choice between working in an office and working outside, I enjoy working outside more than anything in the world. I haven't been having those Wednesday night dinners with my wife like I used to since I've been campaigning for governor, because I'm still a worker and I'm still campaigning for governor. I'm not the guy with all the money, so I can't just focus on the campaign. I actually still got to work every day, unlike the candidates I'm facing in the race for Arizona governor. Carrie Lake's got millions of dollars. Karen Taylor Robson's got millions of dollars. Paolo Tuliani-Zinn's got millions of dollars. Katie Hobbs has got millions of dollars. And I'm the only middle-class candidate running for Arizona governor who does not have millions of dollars. So I still got to get up 2 a.m. every day, put my boots on, go to work, and then I do my campaign stuff in the evening. So unfortunately, you're right. My life is out of balance. I've been missing those Wednesday night date nights with my wife, and I'm going to see if I can do this next Wednesday night now that we're talking about that.
And we're going to add one more thing into the mix for you. You're going to go, why did I stop at Jill's booth today? We're going to add in at least 1 hour on Sunday or Saturday night for God.
Absolutely.
And you're going to pause everything and put it, because in balance for healing and recovery, it's God first, you second, because if, like the old oxygen mask, your family and children third, and guess what? Work is fourth.
That's true.
That's
fourth.
True. So when you get home, you're going to make sure your scales are God first. Then you take care of yourself. You're going to wake up. You're going to eat 3 balanced meals per day.
I always wake up and pray first.
And pray.
But I almost never eat breakfast because I'm up so early.
The rule of thumb is 1.5 hours, between 1 to 1.5 hours after you rise, you got to get some protein in your body to jumpstart your brain. And
so Monster energy drinks are not protein, right?
No. You need protein and some veggies or something. So within 1 hour, and you know why? If you don't do that, what happens to you, Scott, and you need to know this since you really are working
It does turn you acidic.
No, what it does too, though, is it turns off the leptin in your brain. And your leptin is the hormone that tells your body when you're hungry or full. So you'll stop losing your control over your hormone, and you will not know when you're hungry or full. So you must do that to keep balance in your life. So we're just here to show the world that Scott Neely is an amazing man of God who has a calling from him to run for office, but first and foremost, to put God first, his self next of health, and then his family. And so we're gonna hold you accountable, because if we don't do this first, there's not anything you can give to the citizens of Arizona. So we start first with you.
And I've never put myself first. I've literally always put God first, family first, business first, work first, and I'll eat later.
All right, and
but you're right. I need to nourish myself.
And I'm a transformational coach, so if you need to do a Zoom with me, we'll unburden that.
Okay.
And we'll set you free, because when we can take 4 generations of sin back to God, which is that state of workaholism, the Lord can bring in blessings to sustain you and your family, and then you pass that on generationally to your children and your children's children. Do we have an amen?
Amen. Praise Jesus.
All right, Scott. Hey, guys, get out and vote, no matter who your choice is, because you do have a choice in life. You have a choice to put God first, or you have a choice to turn away from God. You have a choice to take care of yourselves, or a choice to let your bodies fail and fall apart. You have a choice in life today, so make that choice wisely. And remember, this is your country that God created, so get out and vote for the candidates that you feel align most with what your values are. And we hope those in Arizona will choose Scott Neely.
And if you're looking for the middle-class candidate, I want to be Arizona's middle-class governor. I want to be Arizona's infrastructure governor. I want to bring back trade schools. I want to make young men into men again.
And we want our Arizona people to be in balance.
Yes. And vote Neely for governor.com, the August 2nd Republican primary.
Thanks a lot for showing up over here. We love you, Scott. Have a blessed day.
You too. God bless you.
Bye-bye now.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial to bring you my BOGO extravaganza. For example, you get one of my Giza Dream bed sheets and you get a second set absolutely free. Or my 6-piece towel sets. Buy one set, get another one absolutely free. Or get my classic premium MyPillow and get another one absolutely free. So call the number on your screen or go to mypillow.com and use your promo code to get my buy one, get one free offers and get deep discounts on all MyPillow products.
Many people know about our clinic, but most don't realize we help patients around the globe reach their health goals. Deep down, you know there's got to be a way to get there, but you don't know where to start. Our starter plan is the first step. You'll get everything you need to experience a health transformation in 120 days.
You'll start by resetting your health with a 2-week detox. Then you'll implement our proven anti-inflammatory food plan. On top of this, you'll get a 120-day supply of essential supplements, omega-3, and vitamin DK, as well as our homeopathic drops to accelerate your health goals.
Go to Sherwood.tv now and use the promo code on your screen to receive this exclusive offer and save a total of $80.
This is your path to more energy and better health.
thanks for joining us today on The Connection Show, where we bring you stories that will transform your life. The Connection Show would appreciate your support. Please go to either our Patreon page or our PayPal Me Now link today. We love our podcast show guests and appreciate our listeners and YouTube subscribers. Please go to our YouTube channel called The Connection Show and Braveheart Workshops and subscribe now. Remember to click the gray bell in the All tab so you don't miss any upcoming episodes.